Hello again. It's so nice to be back with you and sharing these beautiful horses with you. What a lovely picture we have to look at today as a background. I love it. There's a subject that I've been asked to talk to you about, and it's about forgiveness, forgiving yourself, and are you able to really do that? It's such an interesting topic because to forgive yourself, there has to be an idea that wrong's been done. You've done wrong. You've been involved in something wrong. So there's an element of judgment there, and also a belief that to move on, you need to have that forgiveness. So there's nothing wrong with all of this. It's just taking a look at what's really going on with you. What thoughts are there? What's been manifested around you in the last while that makes you feel like you need to forgive? And I think that it's a nice thing to look at because it shows you where you're at in relation to your life, the past, people, events, and how you're able to cope and move forward. So let's talk about that. How do you actually forgive yourself? How do you move forward with letting the past go, cutting those ties to these memories or ideas that wrong happened? Either you did wrong, events were wrong that you were involved in, and that forgiveness is necessary. Like, who's forgiving you? Who are you asking for forgiveness from? How do you view all of this, that this topic is even relevant to you? Isn't that incredible? And so really what we're doing is developing this experience of self-love, that to be able to love what's happened, to accept it, to love it, to move on, to love yourself, to believe in yourself, to believe that mistakes can happen, or perhaps they weren't mistakes, they were perfect unfoldment, even if other people don't agree. That there's always growth and learning, no matter how it looks. And sometimes it looks like you get a big tick beside your name, and sometimes it looks like you get a big cross beside your name. But what are you learning here? How are you becoming a better person, or becoming more evolved with your ideas of who you are, how things should be experienced, and how the world is? Because if we continue to live in a lot of judgment, we're continuing to believe there's a lot of wrong going on, and we're kind of manifesting that energy or playing in that energy. You know, the energy of badness or wrong or mistakes, heaviness, fear, victimhood. Either we're being the victim or we're making other people the victim somehow, you know. Blame. I so don't resonate with blame. It's just something I've never gelled with, that I blame other people for situations or who's to blame. You know, I just don't gel with that. I think that we're all learning. We're all evolving. We're all coping with situations as they change. And sometimes they change extremely fast. Sometimes you have the facts. Sometimes you have no facts. So you have no understanding really of the bigger picture. Sometimes you understand what other people are going through. Sometimes you have no understanding of what other people are going through. Sometimes things just look absolutely normal, yet somebody else is thinking something completely different about it. And you're like, huh? I don't get that. So the only person that's really offering you truth is you. Your view, your understanding, whether it's limited or not, it doesn't matter. It's still your view. And then to trust that you're doing the best that you can with the circumstances or the information that you have. And so even if you're not doing the best you can, you're doing what you can cope with, or you're doing with what just seems right in the moment. You know, I think that most of us can get pretty lost in trying to work out how everyone else thinks and trying to please everybody, because ultimately you can't please 10 billion people on the planet, let alone your family, your friends, your companions. How do you do that without giving your truth away and realizing who you are is good enough, perfect, divine, living out your life in harmony and perfection. Like, you've got to give yourself a break here. It's very nice to say, okay, I forgive myself my wrongdoings and it's time to move on, and I cut the ties to the past so that I can move on with happiness and peace, whatever you wish to say. But at the same time, you have to fill yourself up with love and recognize the self-esteem as a wholeness to who you are. You can't spend your life trying to please other people, or trying to work out what went wrong, or trying to work out what you can do right. You can just be you and embrace that, love that, accept that totally, and then step out in your life from that platform and really live with your truth. So to forgive yourself fully is to realize what you believe is wrong. Either acknowledge it, to learn from it and make changes if you can, or to embrace that everyone has a view, including you, so that the wrongdoing perhaps is perspective, someone else's perspective or your perspective, and then even see the violence wrapped around that. Like, how long are you going to be violent towards yourself? For how much longer are you going to be so judgmental towards you instead of loving you and accepting you for who you are? So to me, it's such a gift, an amazing gift, to turn everything that's happened, possibly to happen, into a learning of love. The platform has to be love. The platform has to be that there's something greater than us, playing with us, moving us, teaching us, and sharing with us how big we can be, or just not necessarily big, because it gives us the idea that we have to become something. Or how about letting go into who you are is good enough, and that the forgiveness is hand in hand with love. So you're not forgiving yourself because there was all this wrong and you have to change. How about you're recognizing the perfection and the love and taking a new start or a new stance, I think I was about to say, to own who you are, embrace who you are, and allow your actions and your truth to be for the greater good, for sharing, for recognizing the good in others. And if you can commit to that or play with that, then perhaps everything that's happened in your past has gotten you to this point to show you a different view, to invite you into something new and exciting. And then there's no mistakes. There cannot be mistakes in the greater picture. There's learnings, there's evolution, there's the growth of love and peace and acknowledging who you are. But mistakes, no. Sometimes it's a little hard to swallow, to realize, that saying all is perfect. But as you start to realize this, forgiveness is natural in the recognition of the love now, then you realize the truth of who you are and the beauty of why you're here. And I believe it is for us all to shine our beautiful light, to do good, to raise the vibration of the planet, if you wish to see it like that. And it could be through simply loving yourself enough that you can smile at others. And it makes it all worthwhile, doesn't it? Anyway, those are my thoughts for today that I want to share with you. Play with that for yourself and however that resonates with you. And as I say goodbye, let's keep sharing and doing this together. Adios.